Hey, welcome to an episode of Is It Worth It, the show where I'll give you my thoughts over some gameplay on a specific video game. So you're brand new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. I'm doing a giveaway for Horizon Forbidden West. All you have to do to enter is be a subscriber and leave your thoughts in the comments down below. Hi everyone, my name is Vahlkor and today we're going to be talking about Halo Infinite. I was pretty excited going into Halo Infinite as I played Halo 1 through 4 and watched some good story recap videos. Now that I completed the game, I can say that it was an enjoyable experience. I played on PC. There's how I prefer my shooter games. I prefer to use mouse and keyboard, and all the footage that you're watching is from the live stream here on YouTube. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't play much of the multiplayer, so I won't be talking about that here. I'm gonna be focusing on the experience on playing the campaign. From the first sequence, which is an epic in-engine action cinematic, instantly grabbed me. The game threw me right into the action and it's very own unique way, and it was a great start. You go on, kill some enemies, finally you get a taste of what the combat feels like, and after playing the last 4 games, I noticed instantly that it felt fresh, responsive, and honestly, it felt that this has been the best I felt playing like Master Chief. For some reason, in some of the in the other games, I felt like Master Chief was kind of like a weak character, in my opinion. It didn't feel like he was like a strong, super badass soldier to me. In this game, it definitely feels that way. Anyways, once we are done with that section, the game leads us to the open world where we can choose what to do next. And this right here is what I've been waiting for. What would the open world feel like? The way the developer 343 built the open world was great. I spent most of the time exploring the map while collecting upgrades, cosmetics, capturing bases, and killing high-value targets before my next big story segment. And that's how I enjoy playing these types of games. I want to be more powerful before the next chapter, and it didn't feel like the map was cluttered with a lot of meaningless puzzles or annoying to deal scenarios like many other open world games do. I guess for some it could feel a little bit repetitive to fight the same enemies everywhere, but since you can approach every encounter in a different way, that kind of made up for a lot of the entertainment value for me. Oftentimes I just found myself jumping into a vehicle and killing everything in my path, and other times I found like a good spot where I could snipe the enemies out and then go in for the kill and the other ones that were remaining. Relatively early in the game, you are pretty much able to explore the map and grab what they call forward operating bases, or FOBs, which these are controlled by the Vanish. After you defeat them, you can go ahead and capture it for yourself and flipping them into the UNSC control, which will then act as a fast travel point and as a restocking facility where you can load out Master Chief with your favorite weapons. This is done by acquiring Valor points. The higher your Valor points are, you get access to more weapons and better soldiers will show up to assist you in the world. Valor points are awarded by performing various activities like capturing the FOBs, rescuing Marines. You can take down high-value targets as well as destroy propaganda towers. And once you progress enough, you can call the Pelicans down, which will bring you, vehicles like the Warthog or like a Scorpion tank and stuff like that. It's a progression system that rewards you by deviating from the story and repelling Banish around the map in these key locations. Another important activity around the map is finding the hidden Spartan cores. Now, these are probably the single most important thing that you want to do to prioritize, as they will directly enhance Master Chief by upgrading your armor abilities. My favorite was the grappling hook. It is by far the most useful and fun ability in the game, at least in my opinion. Being able to grapple out of a deadly situation or just attaching to an enemy and taking it down, it felt very satisfying. It added a new level of combat gameplay that I hadn't experienced before in this franchise. There's also a scanner sensor for finding like stealth enemies, and you have like a portable shield barricade and a dash. My problem with the abilities is that they felt a little bit clunky to swap from one another rather than all of them having their own separate keybinds. Like for example, if you will like double tap like left or right or whatever, it would allow you to dash automatically or something like that. I really feel like the switching from the abilities, because they're called equipments in this game, it was kind of clunky. I didn't really get used to it. By the end of the game, I was swapping a little bit more, but it didn't really feel comfortable for me. Most of the weapon in the game, though, they felt pretty good. There were a couple of pistols that I didn't really care about, but in a pinch, they're able to handle the enemies. It was okay. It wasn't really too bad. I didn't spend too much time trying to find a weapon I wanted to use. And I did have some favorites, and I didn't really have a problem keeping at least one of them for most of the game. You know, that didn't deter me from using any of the new weapons that I would find around because, you know, I thought the weapon looked cool or interesting and I kind of wanted to see what they did. So that was a really good thing that, you know, I wasn't really locked into the same weapons if I didn't want to. During the story, we have two new friends. We got the pilot and the weapon. Each of them have their very own personality. For what I can gather, the pilot was more of a desperate survival and he wanted to get the hell out of this place. And no matter how many times, how many banish I took down, he was always worrying that I was gonna die and, you know, probably take his only chances of leaving this place away. And at times, it did feel a little bit weird, the way that he would always be gloomy about situations, you know, not having any trust in Master Chief. But in the end, I think the pilot will play a more important role in the new story. I hope he does, because he's a cool character. I just feel like he was a little bit too much of a scary cat, to be honest. Then you have the weapon. Now, this is a version of the AI that is very, let's say it's very young. Like, it's a very young AI or version of Cortana, if you will. She seemed to act more like a teenager. You could tell that she lacks experience and often she was being very naive. I felt like Master Chief, in a way, was like a role model to her. I will not spoil it here. I think by the end of the game, you will probably like her as your new sidekick. And only time will tell where they go with it. I really think it's interesting what they did in the story. And to answer the question, is Halo Infinite worth it? Well, it took me about 18 hours to finish the game. However, if you focus on the main story, you will probably beat the game considerably faster. I enjoyed my experience playing and I'm looking forward to seeing where the story leads to. The overall direction seemed to be headed the right way, and I have to say that during my playthrough, there were some good moments where I genuinely felt immersed, and there were some emotional moments that felt good. Graphically, the game looks great. I also booted up on the Xbox Series X, and it looked amazing. My computer is not that high-end, so I was playing the game at a lower graphic quality, but it still looked good. It played smoothly, and it only crashed on me once during my play sessions. I think some refinement should be done with the Chief's abilities. Like, I would really like it for it not to be so clunky to swap from one weapon to another. From one ability to another. I feel that would make the game a little bit more fluid, and overall the experience of the game was really fun. I enjoyed it, and I would say that I would recommend it. I think it's a great game. I've never been a Halo fan. I enjoyed the game, and I think this is going to be the birth of a new story that could possibly be as good as the previous one. But hey, that about wraps up this episode of Is It Worth It? Make sure you leave a like as well as your thoughts on Halo Infinite in the comments. If you want to be part of the live stream, subscribe to the channel so you know when I go live. I'll leave a link to that in the description down below. And as always, my name is Vahlkor, and I'll see you next time.